Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're doing something a little different. We're not just going to talk about a problem, we are actually putting science itself on trial. Yeah, you heard that right. We're heading into the courtroom to sift through the evidence and figure out who is the real architect of our planet's current crisis. So let's just dive right in, shall we? We're going to frame this whole investigation like a big courtroom drama. We've got our suspects, we've got mountains of evidence, and by the end of this, we are going to reach a verdict on who's really to blame for the state of our world. Okay, first things first, we have to meet the two main suspects. Now, you might think they're pretty much the same thing, but for this case, it is absolutely crucial to understand their very, very different roles. They're related, for sure, but they are not the same. So, meet suspect number one, applied science. I want you to think of this as the chemist in the lab coat, the biologist out in the field. This is the hands-on work, the actual creation of all the stuff that we touch and use every single day. We're talking plastics, chemicals, fertilizers, you name it. And right next to them in the docket, we have suspect number two, core physics. Now this one's different. This isn't about creating new materials. This is about understanding and, unleashing raw fundamental power. Physics is what gives us the laws of energy and atoms. It's basically the giant roaring engine that makes our entire industrial world go. And this is where it gets really important. Their relationship, the hierarchy between them. So if applied science is the visible face of all this destruction, making the toxic products we can actually see and touch, then physics is the hidden muscle, providing all of the brute force that makes it possible in the first place. All right, the court is now in session. And first up, the prosecution is laying out its case against core physics. So let's take a look at the evidence, shall we? And the central charge? Wow, it is a heavy one. The prosecution is basically arguing that physics is guilty of handing humanity the tools for total, complete, existential annihilation. We're not just talking about making things messy here. We're talking about ending the entire game. So here it is, Exhibit A. The evidence really centers on two massive breakthroughs. First, the heat engine. By figuring out thermodynamics, we learned to burn fossil fuels on an insane scale. And now, we're systematically overheating the entire planet. And second, nuclear power. Unlocking the atom didn't just give us energy, it gave us weapons that could literally wipe out civilization in an afternoon. It all really boils down to this one elegant, terrifyingly simple equation. E equals mc squared. It looks so simple, right? But what it did was hand us the power of the stars, an amount of raw energy that our planet's ecosystem was just never, ever designed to contain. So if we're gonna sum it up, the kind of damage physics is capable of is on a planetary scale. It's structural. It fundamentally changes the systems of the Earth itself. It can be incredibly fast, and its potential consequences are, they're total. It can make our world completely and fundamentally uninhabitable. Okay, the prosecution rests its case against physics for now. Let's call our second suspect to the stand, applied science. What's the case against it? What's the argument here? The accusation here is completely different. This is not about some sudden world-ending explosion. No, this is about a slow, creeping cancer. It's a quiet poisoning of the Earth from the inside out by creating this army of toxins that simply will not go away. And the evidence? Let's look at Exhibit B. It points to two major crimes. First, synthetic chemistry. This gave us amazing things, but it also gave us materials like plastic that never, ever biodegrade and are now clogging up everything from the deepest oceans to our own bodies. And second, biological manipulation. Designing these super effective pesticides and fertilizers that are poisoning our soil and water, leading to what many have called a silent spring. And I think this quote just illustrates the problem so brilliantly. Applied science has essentially created a world full of synthetic zombies, materials that can't be killed, because there is literally nothing in nature that has evolved to break them down. We're talking about everything from the plastic bags you see in a tree to the microplastics that they're now finding in our own blood. So you see, the damage profile for applied science is totally different. It's slow, it's toxic, and it's cumulative. It just builds and builds. It's not going to end the world overnight. Instead, it just slowly degrades the quality of life on this planet, year after year, as all these poisons pile up. Okay, we've heard both cases. All the evidence has been presented. Now it's time for the jury, that's you, that's us, to deliberate. Let's weigh the facts and see if we can reach a verdict. So let's review the facts one more time. On one hand, you have physics, which causes existential damage. It's vast, it's potentially total, and recovery is, well, it's nearly impossible. On the other hand, you have applied science, which causes degradative damage. It's slow, it's toxic, but, recovery is at least theoretically possible. So, after weighing all of that evidence, after comparing the scale and the speed and the permanence of the damage, who is it? The court is finally ready to deliver its verdict. The verdict is in. And according to this analysis, the more dangerous culprit, the primary architect of our potential destruction, is physics. And the reasoning behind this is actually really simple, but also chillingly powerful. It comes down to this idea. You can live in a dirty house full of trash. That's the world created by applied science. But you absolutely cannot live in a house that is burning to the ground. And that burning house, that's the threat from physics, from runaway climate change or nuclear war. But wait, hold on a second. Just as the judge is about to bang the gavel and close the case, the analysis throws one final, crucial twist at us. Have we been asking the right question this whole time? Is blaming the science itself really the right move? And here's the argument. Maybe we've put the wrong suspects on trial completely. Think about it. Physics isn't a person with an agenda. It's just a set of laws describing how the universe works. And science is just a method for discovery. They're just instruments. They're tools. They don't have a will or a motive of their own. Here's what the analysis suggests is the true hierarchy of blame. At the very bottom, you have the tool, physics, which just provides the raw power. In the middle, you've got the method, science, which figures out how to apply that power. But at the very top, the one directing the whole show, the motive, an economic system that demands endless growth and cheap products, no matter what the ultimate cost is. So the final takeaway here isn't that science is bad or evil. It's that science is just unbelievably powerful. The real challenge for us isn't to abandon it. That would be insane. It's to consciously and with purpose redirect that immense power, to steer it away from short-term exploitation and point it directly towards long-term healing and restoration. Because the choice ultimately isn't science's to make, it's ours.